This week on It Came from the Redbox, we follow a malevolent entity out to get horny teens. It Follows, from writer-director David Robert Mitchell, was an indie hit that received a lot of praise during its limited theatrical run. Examiner called it a wonderfully creepy and horrifying movie-going experience, while Screen Rant was far more fair, calling It Follows creepy and has style to spare. Throw in several long stylistic and Steadicam shots to emphasize the dramatic, and you have yourself It Follows. And that's just the cinematography. Don't get me started on story. It Follows is like the horror version of Lord of the Rings. There is a lot of walking and running. It follows Jay Height, an average hot teen dating mysterious Mr. Douchebag, Hugh, played by Jake Weary. It isn't until the two have sex when she realizes just how fucked she really is, and finds herself being stalked by a slow-walking, relentless entity, which Hugh warns about after passing the curse onto her in the back of his ride, which is the basis of the poster. She has to pass it on to someone else through sex, or the entity will kill her. I don't want to be too forward, but give me a call sometime, Jay. That can be taken the wrong way. Her closest pals don't believe her, but the longer they stick around as she attempts to track down Hugh in the hopes of proving to them the curse is real, they realize she may not be all that batshit. The entire film is built on gradualistic terror via unnerving atmosphere thanks to slow zooms and voyeuristic shots that put you in Jay's shoes, or whatever she's wearing in each scene. I appreciate that Mitchell leaves room for interpretation of what it is, but he never explains what causes it to appear or what would happen if he had sex with a toy, or had a three-way. Seriously, these are teens, let's not act like they don't do that shit. Even Tarantino griped about all the fucking plot holes in this movie.
I cannot stand by, and I have to call the murder.
Wrong one. It's incredibly vague throughout the film and clearly seeks to avoid examining the central plot too much. However, outside of that, there's not a great deal going on. It feels like a collection of short films spliced together without really ever coming together, culminating in a confusing mix of anticlimactic, incoherent, and incomplete ideas that threaten what good there is. I'd love to say it's a good effort, but the praise did not match the hype, and I was really looking forward to seeing this movie. From strapping the camera like a GoPro to a wheelchair for an entire scene, and a car, several times, the teens navigate the ruins of Detroit in a wild goose chase to run from it, since they have no fucking clue how to fight back. I joked they were in Detroit while watching the movie before they literally said 8 Mile. The scenes only result in reminding you of It Follows as a heavily flawed movie with some good moments that are overshadowed by slow burn bullshit. The acting isn't the greatest, but it's not the worst. It's typical horror. Monroe carries the film along with her emotional performance peppered with her sexy self when she realizes the only way to give herself more time is to have sex, and surround herself with one-dimensional characters. It Follows is creepy at times, but for the most part is overly slow, confused, and too concerned with being vague to give you anything more than the paranoia of being followed, look at that, and narrowly escaping when the shit hits the supernatural fan. It Follows is a great metaphor for the deadliness of sex, as young people develop into adulthood, and, as such, parents should find that comforting. I, however, lost interest halfway through the film and held meaningful discussions with myself, treating it as a Mystery Horror Theater 2000. It was the only way to enjoy it, but enjoy it that way, I did.